So Doug is an old friend. Doug is an architect, a subject matter expert when it comes to lighting, all things lighting. He is working on the new lighting standards for the NKBA. He is a longtime speaker at the International Builders Show and just an all-around incredible resource of knowledge and expertise, and he's very generous to share it with us. So today we're going to talk about how most kitchens in the US are horribly underlit. And Doug is going to tell us a little bit about why that's the case and how we can fix it. So Doug, talk to us a little bit about this thing with kitchens being underlit, just sort of a general overview.
Well, I go into every kitchen before I start, even kitchens that I'm not working on. I'll go into a friend's kitchen and pull out the light meter app on my phone. You can get a free light meter app. So that's what I use for most of my measurements. And I found that with every light on, under cabinet lights, decorative lights, cans, most kitchens struggle to hit 15 or 20 foot candles. And the problem with that is the bare minimum you should have, according to both NKBA and IES, which is the Illuminating Engineering Society, is 50. And that's for a 25-year-old with very good eyes. For someone who's 65 or older like myself, it should be double that, should be 100.
So Doug, I hear a lot about these foot candles. Sorry to interrupt you. What exactly is a foot candle?
All right. It is a candle 1 foot away from the surface, and it's basically a square foot piece of paper. And so the candle is 1 lumen, it's 1 candela. And 1 foot away, it's how much light hits that paper, right? So 1 is not very much. We need 50 to 100 in a kitchen. We're used to much higher light levels. We go outside on a sunny day and we might have 10,000 foot candles. Now, obviously, we don't want 10,000 foot candles in our kitchens and our houses, but we definitely need to do better than we've been doing.
So just give me some broad-based suggestions. What do you think needs to be done about this?
Well, I'll tell you exactly what needs to be done. There are 2 problems with bad kitchen lighting. Well, there's more than that. I mean, most people think any light is good. They put a decorative chandelier or pendant over the island, that's plenty of light. Or they put in some under cabinet lights, and that's plenty of light. And that's really not true. The lights need to be over the surface that you're working on. So here's an example. Here's a flashlight. So if I want to read this notepad, I put the light over the notepad. If the light's over my head or behind my head, suddenly that notepad, or in this case, the kitchen counter, is not being lit. So the light absolutely has to be over the surface that you're working on. It can't be over your head. It can't be behind your head. So that means it's going to be anywhere from 18 to 24 inches out from the wall. So that's problem number 1. And most people are really stuck on the idea that lights shouldn't be too close to the upper cabinets. They've been taught that for decades. Whoever taught that was very paranoid about light hitting upper cabinets and creating scallops. I happen to like scallops. But to be effective, it needs to be over the work surface. The other problem is they're picking the wrong bulb or the wrong lamp in the fixture. The cheapest fixture you can buy, I mean, you're not going to put a standard Edison bulb in a downlight. You want something that's a reflector bulb. So most people go out and buy these. They're called BRs. This one's a BR 30 for a 5-inch can. The BR stands for bulb reflector, right? So these are dirt cheap. You buy them by the case. The electricians love to buy them because they're cheap. What you really need is something called a par. Notice how the par is flat on top and there's some sort of a lens. You see that? Let's see, this one is, the BR is 10 watts. This particular par I'm holding is 13 watts. The BR is putting out 650 lumens. The par is putting out 1050 lumens. The par bulb is 10 to 20 times more efficient at delivering that light to where it's needed than the BR. A lot of the BR light is wasted in the upper atmosphere. It never reaches the countertop. So The other dimension then people are going to ask about is how far apart they should be. Every bulb, every fixture should have something like this. It's called a photometric chart. But basically, there's a chart that shows the light coming down, and it'll say at 3 feet, at 6 feet, at 9 feet, here's how many foot candles you get, and here's how big the diameter of the beam is going to be. Okay. So basically, if I have this chart, and I have an 8-foot ceiling, and my counter's at 3 feet, so I'm looking for what it's going to be at 5 feet. So you need to see two things. You need to see how many foot candles you can anticipate at that distance, but you also want to know the beam diameter, because the beam diameter is going to tell you how far apart your light should be horizontally. So if I've got a 2-foot beam diameter, I'm probably going to put my cans about 2 feet apart, so that the edges of both beams kind of intersect, and there's not a light and dark spot as you move down the countertop. But basically, you need to design things on paper. You need to spec the right light, the right fixture, the right bulb. But what I would try before I even do that as a remodeler, just experiment in your own home. And when you take out a BR fixture and you put in a PAR and you get 10 to 20 times as much light on your countertops, you're going to say, whoa, Nellie, I need some dimmers here quickly, which is great. Better to have too much light than too little.
Oh, so much. And so many customers of remodelers are, either Gen X or boomers, and they need a little bit more light. It's important to have a little bit more light on your working surface especially important once you're over the age of 40. So this has been fantastic, Doug. This is so helpful.
Can I make a plug?
Yes, please.
I've got like 10 articles I've written for Pro Remodeler. If you'll just go on the www.proremodeler.com site and search my name, you'll find about 10 different articles on lighting and kitchen lighting in particular, and bathroom lighting.
Might I add that Doug's content is hands down the most popular content that we have, with huge amounts of engagement from readers. You'll see it in the comments.